Okay, hey, it's Josh Shanley here with Larry Fleckinger, and we're just going to talk about how a plan of attack to get the most out of a lead database. And so Larry's going to first sort of explain a little bit. I think, Larry, you had said before you've got about 3,000 leads. Is that right?
Exactly. These are leads that I've captured over the years, and I'm continuing to capture as we move forward. And as we all know, real estate leads, not all of them pan out to be home buyers and home sellers. So.
Sure. And so like these were various different lead sources.
No, well, they were all targeted leads having to do with real estate. Actually, I was using your marketing methods to capture most of them.
So they were targeted to real estate, but the offer that they opted into were similar, or they were varying?
Most of them, I would say, Josh, came in because they were looking to purchase a home or wanting to know more about purchasing a home, or either stumbled somewhere onto one of my listings online, etc. That sort of thing. Most of them, I think, if you want to categorize them, would be potential buyer prospects.
Sure. And they were that just came from where were they coming from? Craigslist or Facebook or offline or?
Yeah. Okay. Good question. Again, Craigslist, using your training.
Okay.
I generate a lot of leads on Craigslist.
Okay.
Of course, you have to be diligent to do that.
Yep.
And I use some other marketing tools. Do you want me to mention them on this recording, or
you can if you don't have to do specific. It's up to you.
Okay, it doesn't bother me. I use a software called Leads to Listing, or Listings to Leads. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And I do a lot of promotion with them on. They've got all kind of ways to promote, and like on blogs, Craigslist, etc.
Okay, so the syndication kind of.
Yeah, syndication stuff, right? Exactly.
Sort of. Yep, gotcha. Okay.
And of course, we use a hotline system on our. I always put flyers on my signs. I'm a still firm believer in that, along with a sign writer. And we capture calls that way also, but those aren't really good. I don't have email addresses in most cases to those unless I got it from them over the phone.
Right. Okay. And if I'm somebody that came into your fold from Craigslist, what did that look like? I clicked on an ad about a property, and I filled out asking for more information about that property, or I filled out something looking for a free list of foreclosures or a free list of townhomes, or what were they opting in for, or what were they?
Actually, all of the above. I have a mixture of ads that I run on Craigslist. I'm constantly mixing it up. I market, single homes. I market, luxury properties, the best buys in luxury homes, and anything in between. So I mix it up pretty good when it comes to that.
Okay.
Free list of foreclosures, homes under 50,000, HUD homes. I market HUD homes. I do a little bit of all of it.
Okay, let's backtrack a little bit, Larry. Where are you? Like, what kind of? And if you don't want to say your exact market, can you tell me market size?
Sure. Yeah, don't bother me. I'm in Cocoa, Florida.
How? What kind of
Near
population is? Is it COA?
Yeah, COA.
I got you.
Well, it's a central location. I'm in a place called Brevard County.
Okay.
I honestly don't know the population, to be frank with you.
I think Brevard County is 300, 350 maybe?
Yeah.
Is that
sound
about
it's a
right?
pretty good sized county. It's a long county, but we cover from one end to the other.
Okay, so you got a fair amount, and you're centralized. I mean, you would do business in most of this area. Is that right?
Yeah, yep. Mostly, yeah. all
And
ends are in between.
I'm gonna just kind of go all over here
Sure.
because this wasn't this isn't pre-scripted. It's totally free
Sure.
flow. Have you thought about focusing? And this, we're going to talk about two things. One, what to do with this database that you've got, and two,
Right.
maybe some ways to think about moving forward. What may be a better process?
Okay.
So this is more the second part there. What may be a better process?
All right.
Is there one or two funnels or lead-ins that if you focused primarily on those would really work well for you, or would really would supply you with enough? Meaning, have you done all the different hooks out of necessity or out of testing, or something altogether different? Meaning, could you, if you just focused on offering a free list of foreclosures of homes 100 to 400,000,
Right.
would that be
I,
enough, or do you need to have these multiple entry points?
Well, I think it's the latter. I need to have the multiple entry, and the reason I say that is because we learned over time that focusing, initially I focused on the foreclosure list thing, free foreclosure list, so forth and so on. But what I found was that was bringing me buyers, number one, that say, oh, I want to buy a $30,000 home, and great. Do you have the cash? No, I need a loan. So I'm dealing with a lot of that end of the business that was literally wearing me out, and we both know that you're not going to generate a lot of income from showing people $30,000 and $40,000 homes. So I had to kind of mix it up and going for a higher priced home in my ads and so forth, and what I marketed.
Right, which is smart.
That's kind of what I ended up doing.
Right, which is smart. So if we broke down your list, it'd be there would be leads that opted in for like low, let's just call them cheap foreclosures, right?
Low end homes, right?
And then like middle of the road, right? So foreclosures,
Right.
like what would be middle of the road? 100 to 300K?
Yeah, yeah. Most of ours seem to be in the below 100, actually below 50, 60,000.
That's where you're getting a
we
majority
have very
of
few
your
high end.
What's that?
We have very few upper end foreclosures in the I'm going to say between the 150 to on up range. We just don't have a lot of foreclosures in that range.
You've got a lot of
And if they are,
short
they're in bad
sales in
shape.
that range?
Yeah, we got a ton of short sales. God
Right.
bless us.
Okay. What would, when you say you've also offered luxury? What's a luxury? I mean, what price is
to
that?
me, here in our area, a luxury home would be anything. I would say anywhere from 250 on up.
Okay, 250.
Would be a luxury foreclosure, which there's not a lot of foreclosures in that range here, strangely enough.
Okay. I'm just formulating some different thoughts and ideas here. The leads that you have, do you have a way of seeing what they opted in for, or at this point are they just all lumped together?
Well, I use, again, I hate saying other programs, but I use Top Producer, and the majority of my leads are actually that are generated from the programs I use to generate leads actually get automatically sent to Top Producer, and there is some information on each lead that tells me where they came from, what lead generation source it came from. Like if it came from my hotline number, it'll tell me they called on a specific house. If it came from, let's say, a Craigslist ad on one of my other marketing companies I use there, it'll say their company name and what that ad was about. So yeah, I do have an idea.
Okay. I'm just gonna. Are you using Craigslist Ad Tracker? I just want to throw that out before I forget to mention it to you.
I have used it, but I'm not. One of the websites that I use has a Craigslist back end,
Okay.
and it does tracking, but that's probably where I fail the most. I'm not a good tracker, and I know that's not good, but
Yeah,
I'm not a good
people have been telling us about Ad
tracking
Tracker
person.
for a long time, and for whatever
It's
reason, I
good.
just didn't look at it. And I started playing with it a couple weeks ago, and it is like I've fallen back in love with Craigslist. I had fallen
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
love with Craigslist because I heard and was experiencing the same thing, all this problem with ghosting and flagging and all this crap. And since I
right.
started using Craigslist, I get none of it. I get no, all of my ads show. I can see how many. Anyway, if you've got something tied in, I just want to throw that out there. If anybody's listening to this and they're not using Ad Tracker, it's like $15 a month. It's the best
Yeah.
$15. If you're using Craigslist, and you should be if you're in real estate, it's the best $15 a month you could possibly spend. Anyway, back to
Yep.
what we've
I've
got here.
used it and it is good. It works well. I also do offline marketing for local businesses, and I use it tracking a lot of Craigslist ads as I do for those folks.
Oh, cool. We may have to do a separate call for that. I'm curious about that. Anyway, all right. So, what are you currently doing to communicate with these leads?
Oh, well, for the just recently, we brought on a an assistant to start following up. Where I was generating a ton of leads, and we just unfortunately weren't following up with them. I mean,
Yeah.
you get in the cycle, you follow up, you get somebody wants to look at houses, you're showing houses, leads are going by the wayside, they're falling through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
The typical real estate cycle that we go through. So we've got a person that came on board and now is following up the leads as they come in, and also following up with the older leads. We've had this gal calling back the older leads for us
And
and
she's
trying
doing
to see if
she's
we
doing
can
all
milk
this
something
by
out.
phone. She's calling the ones that you have phone
Yeah,
leads
oh yeah,
for.
she gets on the phone.
Okay.
She has no fear of the phone whatsoever, which is
Okay.
awesome.
What are you doing email wise?
Most, I'm going to say about half of these are in a program that once they are into the system, they will get a series of emails, of autoresponder emails, and then it rolls them over into a monthly newsletter. I would say probably 15 to 1,800 of them are in that system. And then producer
Sorry,
system,
your audio went.
and then I'm not really generating emailing them.
Sorry, your audio fuzzed out for a second there. I got. There's a series of emails, and then they roll over, and then I think you were saying what the rest of them are in.
Yeah, the rest of them are in I've got one program. When they come in, they're hooked up to an autoresponder. They get so many emails, they roll over into a monthly, and then the rest of them are all in my top producer
They're just there. They're just sitting
system
there.
from the other various lead sources that
Okay.
don't have autoresponder attached.
Okay. Here's what we have found. The autoresponders just don't work. There may be a time where they had, and you may get, because you're doing such a volume of leads, you may get some response, but you're not going to get the best. And I think the reason why is people now know that they're in a, they're more savvy than they were 5-10 years ago. They know they're in an
100%
autoresponder series, and it just doesn't. It just doesn't work the way it used to. So I want to talk about two things. One, a process for the first couple days, that a short autoresponder series that can work, and then at what we have found that works better long term as a regular email communication process. So the first thing I would say is what we have found to work, and we've actually have a video. I'm going to find this video and put the link in this doc because I'm going to make the notes for this. I'm going to get them to you, and for anybody that maybe requests, we might share them. But Ryan did a video the other day on one-line email autoresponders. So rather than some canned long email, writing simply, so somebody opts in for whatever, cheap foreclosures under 100K. The immediate email that goes out is, and let's say the process, and I don't know your process, but let's say they opt in and they immediately get that list. Like they put their email in and it gets taken to a page where either they can search or something.
Yeah.
The immediate autoresponder would be super simple, like, did you get the list? And it's just like, hey, this is Larry. Just wanted to make sure. This works best if there's an expectation of response, yes or no. So, hey, this is Larry. Did you get that the foreclosure list? Okay. Let me know.
Okay.
Thanks. And then and then tomorrow it's like hey, what darn it, I'm drawing a blank. We actually at our live, we had a live mastermind a couple I guess it's a month ago now, a little more than a month ago. And there was a fella in Atlanta that had this down pat, and it was great. They were short and one line. Something will come to me, but the idea is that you have 2 or 3 emails that go out that are very short and sweet, and and each one creates an expectation of response, whether or not it's yes or no. Like, hey, I forgot to ask, are you looking for yourself or for investment purposes? And then the last one is, oh yeah, are you planning to buy with cash, or did you need financing? Things like this, which they're very short, and this one may not be the greatest to put in there because you might be getting a little bit more than they want to communicate with you this early on in the process. I'm just doing it more for illustration purposes. What are they more likely to read? A short email like this that seems like you actually wrote it to them, or a canned response? And I don't know what canned responses you're using with Top Producer, but my guess is they have the feel of a canned response.
Well, actually, the canned responses actually come from the other program that's attached to a website that I have and use.
Oh, okay.
That's built into their system. In my Top Producer, I create the autoresponders. Like when people sign up for an IDX search, my IDX doesn't have an autoresponder built in, but it comes into Top Producer, and Top Producer will automatically then email them my response, but a day later. I have it wait a day.
Right.
And then I basically I think I heard you guys mention that before, and that's what I did.
Okay, good. So you're doing that part.
1 or 2 sentences.
Okay, good.
Yeah, exactly. And people do respond to those. It sounds like I just typed a quick email to them. It's
right, and that's the idea. And I'm glad to hear that you're doing that, but I'm also illustrating for those watching, because I think some people, we've been trying to really hammer that home, and I think some people still haven't gotten that point yet.
I listened to you.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So that's what I think short term. Now, long term, rather than having a monthly newsletter, I believe, and I think you can do this, you could do this with all 3,000, is if once a week it was Larry's picks, Larry's picks of the week or something like that. And I'm sure you can come up with something more clever than that. But You feature three properties. One, which is the cheap foreclosure, and I would specifically, especially if you're busy, I would call it like the cash deal of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be a foreclosure, or it wouldn't have to be a foreclosure, whatever. But by calling it that, hopefully you're setting the precedent that, like, hey, if you respond to this, you better be a cash buyer, because if you're buying a $30,000 house, we can't be hunting for a mortgage and doing all this stuff for that. So I'd have like the cash deal of the week. I'd have the I don't know what I would call that middle price range.
First-time home buyer, maybe?
Yeah, like a starter.
Starter home, yeah.
Yeah, starter home of the week. And then a luxury deal of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Something along these lines. And the reason this is particularly in Larry's scenario, where we've heard that Larry has several different types of potential buyers in that database. If I was talking to someone who was using the same hook, you maybe wouldn't need all three of these deals. You could just do, if you were just doing luxury deals, you could just do the luxury deal of the week. But I'm trying to outline something that you could use to get the most out of that whole database and make it simple for you, rather than having to, sending one email to this group, and one email to this group, and one email to this group. Let's keep it so that you can communicate with all of them and hit them all with something that might be of interest. So I would send this out every week. And even if let's say you were too busy to even take on clients, I would send that email. I would send Larry's Picks of the Week. Hey, I am so gosh darn busy working with so many of you, and in parentheses, and having a great time, that I didn't even have time to do Larry's Picks of the Week. But I'll be back next week with picks, and in the meantime, if you have anything that you'd like to see, whatever. So I would email that. Every single week. I'd make that like maybe Thursday morning was your pick of the week email.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then one other time during the week, I would mail something else. And I would probably mail you can go a lot of different places with this. What I would normally say is, if these all were one lead type, like they were all people looking for foreclosures 100 to 300,000 in Brevard County, I would send them an updated list directly from the MLS. But because we're trying to create a simple process that all of these leads could be interested in, what I might do is send out your search link, because you've got a search platform, right?
Right.
And then maybe something else with it. Maybe you created a video. Maybe you talk about something that's going on in Brevard County. Something that has sort of mass appeal that people might find interesting. And if you consistently send those two emails, and again, the second one may evolve. I don't know what would be best there. And you may find that you might just be able to send them out the foreclosures, the updated foreclosure list for the entire county. That may work. In fact, yeah, you may want to do that. That's a process where they can see all of them. So, they can see the ones that are 30,000, and they can see the few that are the higher ticket ones. And that email just looks like, your weekly list of Brevard County foreclosures, and I might even include that they're and short sales. And then I just have, here's your weekly list. Just a reminder, this is the most up-to-date. Just a reminder, this is the most up-to-date current information right from our MLS. And I'd put the list, and I'd say the list includes blankety blank. And to schedule a private showing or for more information about any of these properties, call or text me at this number, and maybe you even have those go to your assistant who's doing the live calls if you're too busy. This way, you're communicating with them twice a week, and especially early on, you will lose people. You're going to get people unsubscribed because this is new, but you're also going to get a ton of response. And so you'll pare down.
That's what I was fearing was the unsubscribe thing. I thought.
Don't fear that, because if they unsubscribe, they were never going to do a deal with you anyway.
You're exactly right. I thought that also. If they unsubscribe, they don't want to hear what I have to say in the first place.
Ryan and I don't want to say argue, but we disagree on this frequently. If someone unsubscribes, they weren't going to be a customer anyway. And whether it's you, Larry, in your real estate business or me in our Reticulous business, we only make money from customers, from clients. Right. A subscriber, unless I turn them into a customer or client, is really no good to me. Now, you can't treat them like that, but really you have to just know that as a business owner. And so I'll take, as long as I'm getting activity and ultimately sales and transactions, those unsubscribes are just a part of business. And you also know that you can replace those unsubscribes every single day because you are actively lead generating. So you're going to replace them with fresh people and people that you'll be able to. Here's the other thing. If people come in and you do this process from the start, you'll have less unsubscribes because they'll be accustomed to it. The reason you're going to see a spike in unsubscribes up front is because this isn't what you've been doing. So it's going to jolt some people, and again, the ones that leave, they're not looking for real estate anymore, and they're not going to do a deal with you anyway. So, goodbye. It's cleaning out the list, and you're going to get way more activity than you are losing from the unsubscribes.
All right, I hear you.
Now, the next thing, and I think this is part of the question that you were asking me previously, is what else could I do to monetize the list outside of real estate?
Exactly.
Couple of ideas there. Recently, we have been promoting a program which is sort of a home business affiliate internet marketing type of program that I have been able to successfully turn some of my real estate list. I've got about 5,500 leads. I've been able to get some of them interested and have monetized them that way. I think you could do there are companies like Living Social and Groupon that have affiliate programs. You could put things like that in front of them. You could work out affiliate arrangements with other local businesses. You mentioned you consult with offline businesses. Well, you might be able to come up with a deal with, let's say you work with, and you got to be careful here and, consult your attorney and all this stuff. This is not legal advice. But you may be able to come up with a way to refer people to, let's say, your accountant, and him to give you $25, $50 for every person who uses them. Or, I'm drawing a blank here. Maybe your insurance agent. you may be able to work out some type of affiliate referral arrangement with them to do that. Or rather than getting a cut of every client you send, which can get a little hairy and can get, a little bit gray, you could go to them and say, I'd like to feature you in an email to my entire database. You get to tell me what you want the email to send, and I'll help you craft that, and it costs X. You pay me a couple $100, I will send you an email endorsing you and telling people why they should work with you, Mr. Insurance Agent or Mr. Accountant or Mr. Estate Planner or whatever. Or it could even be, if you've got offline restaurant clients.
An automotive, oil change people, stuff like that, discounts. I think y'all had a program. Didn't you have a program or something going on there with like a Groupon coupon thing or something that you were promoting? Yeah. We
still have that. And the idea there was building a local audience. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just a change in semantics, basically. The idea there is you build a list that isn't necessarily right now interested in real estate, but that every 7 to 10 years, depending on who you talk to, is going to be doing a real estate transaction of some kind. And so you build a list that you can communicate with about non-real estate things, but every time in the PS say, hey, by the way, if you know somebody who's looking to buy or sell real estate, we can help them, or whatever. You'd come up with a better tagline than that. But yeah, the same basic concept is and that's giving you different ways, different revenue sources that you can create basically out of thin air, out of an asset that you've already created.
The only thing that happens with like the coupons and the local businesses would be the fact that I do generate a ton of out of town buyer prospects in my list. So
okay. I'm gonna have to. You're in an area that has a high move-in rate, right?
Yeah. Well, it's just everybody wants to move to Florida to get retire here and so forth. And,
so you may need to look for some things that are more universal appeal. Okay, here's an idea. You may want to look at a investing education program that has an affiliate program. For example, a guy by the name of Preston Ely is a quote-unquote guru in the real estate investor vertical or niche. And you can sign up as an affiliate with him. He has trainings that, he has very high converting sales material. And I've personally known Preston for many years now. What he delivers is legitimate. There's no scam. You can feel comfortable knowing that what he's offering is of high quality. He's a very eccentric and very interesting person, just as an aside. But there are lots of opportunities like that. You could even do something like, there are guys like John Commuta who have courses on getting out of debt, or even like a Dave Ramsey. And I'm just pulling examples out of wherever. But there are lots of different affiliate marketing opportunities that you can relate to the people who are interested to a database, that are either general enough that they would work or do lend themselves directly to real estate. I
hear what you're saying. Sure.
So I've made I'll just say, I'm not gonna, because I don't even know the numbers, but we've made lots of money promoting Preston to our local real estate database, the same kind of database you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We have done.
I've actually been a part of his programs before, so I'm familiar with it.
Yep, and I can probably find the link to sign up as an affiliate for him
Yeah,
and
if you
get that
get
to
that,
you.
would you email that to me,
Yeah,
please?
let me just note.
Or pop it up on the screen when
Yeah,
I'm recording.
find Preston affiliate page. You know what?
Yeah, I
While we're
actually.
talking here, let me see if I can find it.
Okay.
That kind of stuff is different ways, and the cool thing is, if they do it, of course, Preston Ely scam, because that comes up for any one of these guys. But of course, that's the thing that shows up. I can promise you, he's not a scam. I know him personally, and
Yeah, I think he's
the
over
real
in
deal.
Tampa.
Yes,
He's on
he
the
is.
West Coast.
Yep, he certainly is. Where is it? I think this could be it. No, these are resources. Anyway, what's cool is if they, well, this might help. This is a start anyway. If you email him, he'll probably, well, he won't email you back, but somebody on his team will email back to sign up with his affiliate program. I know it's. If I look here long
I
enough,
actually
I'll
still
find
get
it.
email. I'll check it out. I'll probably I can find an email that he
Yeah,
sent me
you'll be
probably
able to find it.
fast.
But
I'm on his list.
the cool thing is, these people will go through this, and they're still going to need to work with an agent if they want to implement most of what he teaches.
Right.
So you're teaching them to be better clients, basically, and making some extra money. That, in this case, it's not going to be life-changing money, no question. But it's money that you can reinvest into marketing, or that you can use to offset your marketing. Right. I mean, you're never going to make a huge windfall with these kind of things, but every little bit helps, and it can help you it can just help you continue to grow the list.
Right. I mean, we're talking about just adding a link, I guess, to an email and just a short 1 or 2 liner in there about it, and
yep. That's all
not
you have to
going to
do.
cost me much.
So yeah,
but a little time.
That's the other cool thing. So you could either include it. I would not include it with the deals of the week, because you want those to be the only call of action. But you could even include, like, in the weekly update, the weekly list update, you could include a link. P.S. If you're interested in, wholesaling real estate, you might want to check out this link, or whatever. You could do that, or you can send specific broadcasts about that. And the other cool thing is, depending on how Top Producer works, you could write a subject line like, if you're interested in real estate investing, ... and then information inside. And I don't know if Top Producer will tell you who opens that email or not.
No, I don't think it does. It doesn't show opens. No, they're not that advanced.
For those of you who are using a platform that does, when you send an email like that, the cool thing is, the people that opened it are most likely interested in real estate investing, because you put, if you're interested in real estate investing, in the subject line. So it stinks that Top Producer doesn't do that. But for those using other platforms, that's the other cool thing about doing some of this stuff. And when you say a subject line like that, instead of people unsubscribing if they're not interested, they just ignore it, because this particular email doesn't apply to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little, it's just a little tip for folks.
Yeah, I like that.
So what else didn't we talk about, or that? How else can I help you, Larry? What else? Was this good? Was this?
Well, first of all, that was great. It was great. You've got my brain turning, the wheels turning in my head here on ways to monetize this list, and I'm going to have to let go of some of my leads when they unsubscribe. I guess it's like we protect our leads.
Well, here's the thing,
like
Larry.
Gold or something.
Here's the thing. And you may or may not have seen or heard this before, but there are studies done on companies that send out millions of emails, and frequency of emailing that gets the highest percentage of opt-out is emailing once a month. The frequency that gets the lowest percentage of opt-out is emailing once a day. Now, if you email every day versus emailing once a month, you're still going to get more total unsubscribes because you've got more opportunity for them to unsubscribe. But I think people often they get hung up on that, and you just need to let that. Here, I'll just give you an example. For Reticulous, half of the people that have ever opted in to our list are no longer subscribed. Half. And we're still...
They're lost.
And I'll take that all day long. It means they weren't going to work with us. We didn't resonate with them, whatever. And that's fine. It's part of the metrics. And think about this also. Knowing someone like yourself who is serious and treats this like a business, how many transactions is a client worth to you? It's probably worth multiple. My point being, if you lose some people to get that client, you're going to make way more money off of customers than off of subscribers. And so, I want to get to the customers as fast as possible. Now, again, you don't want to do this in a way that is, you can go overboard. There's certainly, and we have, there's been times where we've pushed too hard in our business, and it's all a learning process. But I wouldn't even look at those. I don't even look at the unsubscribes. Ryan does. I tell him, don't even look at it, dude. Just forget about it. It's a cost of doing business. And if I send out an email, I focus on the sales or the activity and not the unsubscribes, because that's where you're going to make money anyway. And I'm not harping on it for you. I'm harping on it for everybody. Don't focus on unsubscribes. It's
no different than when you send out a monthly newsletter. Truthfully, we have no clue of how many people open that, and of course you have one or two that'll say, "Oh, I got your newsletter," but in reality, they're probably only one or two reading it. So you don't really have a clue if they're interested or not interested in what you have to say. So one thing
I have
about
had
email
people
it's
who have gotten.
Cost us.
I've had people that have gotten the weekly list email from me for 26 months. This was the longest one I tracked. 26 months before they were like, I forget if it was, I don't even remember if it was the weekly list email or the hot deal email. But for 26 months, they were on my list and had never communicated to us at all. And then all of a sudden, they were ready and they never unsubscribed. For 26 months. Now, did they look at every single email we sent? Certainly not, but they didn't unsubscribe. And because real estate is what it is, I mean, here's how I know this works. My wife would not unsubscribe because she and like mostly everybody who opts in, they like looking at real estate. Even if they're not looking to buy right now. Real estate it's like reality TV. It's interesting. We're not going to move, but every week we're like looking at houses. We go to open houses and stuff. And so that's why my guess is you'll also get a lower unsubscribe rate sending this type of stuff versus sending the newsletter.
The newsletter, I never had a lot of faith in. It's just something that happened. And I don't know if in the one program I have control over that. But fortunately, the same leads are in my top producer, so I can move them around a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt you that going out. But if you add this on and you do it consistently, even if you weren't putting new, fresh leads in, which I know you will do, but even if you weren't doing that, you still will get tons of activity. In fact, I would love it if you got one of these emails out, the deal email, I don't remember, man, I typed a lot here. If you get Larry's picks out, if you get one of these out this week, I'd love to hear what happens, because I guarantee you'll get response. One thing, just a little technical thing here, is I would always put either in the PS or above your signature, do us a huge favor and forward this email to anybody that you know of that might be interested in any of these deals or in getting this weekly list. And just by asking, people will do it. That's the other thing that happens all the time when you're doing this, is you'll get calls or emails, and it's like, you don't know me, but my brother Bob, he's been forwarding your emails to me for 3 months, and I want to go look at this house I saw. And it's like, you don't. And the funny thing is, a lot of times you've never even talked to Bob, the guy who's been forwarding to him. And that's when that's when it gets fun.
Let me ask you something, and because you got my mind just rolling, and this is just so great, and I really appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, this is fun. This is what gets me like jazzed, because I know if you do this stuff, you're gonna be in a week. You're gonna be like, you're gonna be busy, and you're gonna be coming back saying, "Man, this is awesome."
I was wondering, like in the either one of the two emails that I send out, if it. And you tell me your thoughts, since maybe everybody's not ready for the best deal of the week or this, but to have something else just totally off the wall. And I see you and Ryan, and I believe Ryan's kind of the off the wall person in the team.
That
there.
Would be an accurate.
No offense to you.
He would appreciate that. He would appreciate that.
I actually met with him a long time ago, long before you guys got together. But at any rate, he was always very funny, and I was even thinking if you could put a little something in Larry's funny joke of the week or funny video of the week, or just something other than real estate in there, if that would not be a little something that but man, he always has good stuff.
Absolutely. That I'm so glad you brought that up, because they will remember you for that. If you make them laugh or even just smile, the chances are great that it will make it much harder for them to unsubscribe, and it will come to a point where they will look forward to your emails.
Yeah, I think that's a thought.
That is, I'm so glad you brought that up. A joke, a funny video, or something like that. And it just, hey, this has nothing to do with real estate, but it brought a smile to my face, and I thought it might do the same for you. Yeah. And it's a joke or a video on YouTube or whatever. I think that is, I'm so glad you brought that up. Entertain people. Yeah. I'm just going to put that in.
Yeah, and I think even the people that may lighten up the opt-out load on you, if some of them are going to opt out, I don't care what you do. But if you're sending something that makes them smile or laugh, or they say, that guy's, got a sense of humor, that they may just hang in there with you a little bit, and down the road end up buying a home from you. You never know.
Yep. And the other thing that is, I think, is important to do, and you could do it, it could be either one of these or both, is occasionally, and not every time, but occasionally working in a personal story. And it could be as simple as this. Hey, I was out looking for the deals of the week, and I tripped and fell on the front step and skinned my knee, and you show a picture of your skinned up knee. This is how hard I work for you, for all of you. I'm out putting my life on the line for all of you. Whatever the case may be, I just found when I put in personal stories, it gets people engaging with you. So you'll get people that will email and say, like I've done it a lot with my kids. I'll put my kids in there, and I'll get people who have been on my list for a while that are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe your oldest son is 3. I remember when you were talking about him being born, or what will happen is when they do call you, they'll be like, Larry, you don't know me. I've been on your list forever. I feel like I know you personally from your stories, and I have a sense of your sense of humor from your jokes and videos. So I feel like I know you, but you don't know me. I'm ready to buy a house. You're my guy. What do we need to do?
That's great. Yeah, I think that's good. Well, I just realized where all this came about. When I met Ryan, he was doing a thing with these foreclosures where he'd go in a foreclosure house,
Yep.
or walk through foreclosures with his video camera and do really crazy things. He had someone in a sleeping bag one time, like he walked in on a
Yes.
a vagrant sleeping in a foreclosure, and that was where I used to enjoy getting that kind of
Yeah,
crazy stuff.
I've seen him dancing in a mirror in those.
Yeah.
I've seen him pretending to fall down stairs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So
That's
yeah, that's great though. That's good stuff to put in there. I think it's probably more important than the dadgum list, to be honest with you.
well because here's
I
the
mean,
thing.
because
You'll be the guy who's the real estate agent that isn't all salesy and real estatey.
yeah, yeah,
You're the guy. Look, everybody. The reason reality TV is has people glued to it, as unfortunate as it may be, is because people are bored in their own lives and they are looking for ways to be entertained, and to bring a smile to their face and so forth. And if you're the guy who's the real estate agent who's bringing that, like, it's impossible for them not to, one, pay attention to you, and two, want to hear from you. Look forward to your to looking forward to your communications.
right.
And that's what you want. I mean, you want to be the welcome guest instead of the pest.
Yeah, and someone just trying to sell them.
Right.
That's what I always feel like we're doing in real estate. When you mention you're a realtor, I think their whiskers go up, so to speak. They put up a wall, like, oh no, don't try and sell me something. So.
Yep. Yep.
All right, great, man. Well, this has been some good stuff.
Man, this was fun. I'm glad we did this because I had fun
Yeah,
doing it,
yeah.
and I can't wait to hear what happens. And you know what would be cool? I'd love to see some of what you implement, and then maybe we do another one of these in a month, and we reconvene.
That sounds great.
And see how it went, and see if we can make it even better.
Yep, that sounds great.
Awesome.
That sounds great.
Awesome.
I'm gonna. Can we kind of go off the record at this point in time?
Here,
I don't want to.
I'll stop the recording. Yep.
I don't mind. You can record.